What's up, Epic 7? Welcome to As Mikalis of Cycle Nightmare Raid Executioner Karkanis. This is a new team that I think you're really going to like. This was given to be my member of my community, and it is my new favorite team. It solves a lot of the consistency and speed problems that the old Executioner Karkanis team had. I think you're going to enjoy this one. So this is our team. First, we're going to run as a Soul Weaver, Angelic Montmorency. Now, any Soul Weaver would probably work. Elena, Amelia, Angelica. You could even run DN. All these Soul Weavers work, but I like Montmorency because, especially if you have her fitted with the Magahara's Tome artifact, she cycles so fast. She is really good at keeping the debuffs off your team, and that's key to speed and consistency in this fight. Build her with 200% effect resistance. Use an artifact or an imprint if you need to get her there, but 200 effect resistance makes her immune to anything Karkanis can spit out, and you do not want your Soul Weaver, your cleanser, to be debuffed or controlled in any way, shape, or form. Other than that, no other stats really matter. I mean, make her bulky enough to take a hit and fast enough to cycle her skills, but really we're going to be relying on her own built-in CR pushing and Magahara's Tome to cycle her as quickly as possible. Next on team is going to be Shu. This is your traditional damage Shu. We've got her on Daydream Joker. This is the most important artifact in the game for doing Executioner Karkanis. This adds 5 digits of extra damage to every single attack Shu does. So make sure you have this artifact fitted on Shu. The EE of choice would be the one that gives her a 40% chance to go into her Fwoosh skill after she uses Chop. The counter set is not necessary. That's just a bonus. You could probably get more out of this fight if you fitted her with a destruction set, but I've just always had her on a counter set, so it is what it is. If you do not have Shu, you can still do this, but you will probably need to do it on manual. I would recommend any solid ice DPS unit, from Ida to a DPS Ran to a Kisei. There's lots of options, but you'll probably need to do it on manual because most of the ice units don't quite have the chops to do this on full auto. You could try it, but you might have mixed results. Next, we're going to run Brieg. Brieg is normally just support, but if you've got an extra Daydream Joker, slap it on him. You'll be surprised how much more damage you put out in this fight with Brieg on Daydream Joker. If you don't have 2 Daydream Jokers, that's fine. You can leave him on his standard artifacts. He still works great. Little bit of damage, enough bulk to take some hits, and enough speed to take some turns. And the key to this fight, the thing that really kicked it up a notch, is Arya. Now, Karkanis does turn off all passives, so you'll never get the Murder Penguin out of Arya, but Arya hits multiple spots, has a counter buff, and as long as she has 200 effect resistance, you can't have that counter buff stripped away easily. Karkanis does have a skill that Ignore ER strips at one point, but that's okay. The important thing is she hits 2 targets at once, so even when it's not from a counter, when it's just her turn, she's got a pretty good shot at tagging Karkanis and pulling him out of stealth. Because she's really good at pulling Karkanis out of stealth, it makes her really, really good for this fight. EE of choice, I'm using the number 1 EE for the additional damage dealt by Shadow's Call. You're not going to get any extra damage from the Murder Penguin, so that's probably about the best we can do. I had to put her on Bastion of Hope to get her the last effect resistance I needed to get her at 200% ER. Other than that, a little bit of speed's fine, a little bit of damage is fine, a little bit of bulk's fine. Just your standard run-of-the-mill Arya build, but with effect resistance. Not the easiest thing to build in the world, but if you have built Arya for use anywhere in the game, it's your standard Arya build. Don't worry about a Guardian because we're just going to run this straight up full auto. Now, some people ask me, why should I bother with a full auto team when you can do this so quickly on manual? And the answer is pretty simple. On full auto, you can play the game like this. See, right now, I'm doing something that's not Nightmare Raid. I'm cleaning my house, I am watching TV, I am really doing anything that's not standing here doing the same fight over and over again. It's a really nice quality of life to not have to be glued to the screen to watch your full auto, or to watch your manual team to select what units to push. Sure, on manual you could probably bang this out a lot faster, but on full auto, you can legitimately just walk away and come back and it's over. We're already about halfway down. Now Karkanis is stealthed up with a barrier, so if Karkanis takes a turn, he heals himself. Now, he'll keep the barrier for or the stealth for 2 rounds, so if you don't find a way to knock him out of the barrier quickly, he keeps healing himself up, and that's what makes this fight drag on. But between Arya hitting multiple spots and Brieg's extra attack that goes into his S3 that will target through stealth, you should be able to chip through those stealths pretty quickly. You notice how fast Momo cycles her skills, how good she is at keeping the defense spray or keeping the debuffs off our units, because the trick to Karkanis is if you attack Karkanis while you're debuffed, he will self-cleanse everything and counterattack. And that's a little bit of a problem if you're trying to burst him down quickly, is that, you know, he constantly is self-cleansing. There he goes. He heals himself up again, but that's okay. It's to be expected, but we get our counterattack buff back up. Shu does an AoE attack. Unfortunately, my Shu's damage isn't enough to break the barrier, so we're still going to need one more hit. And that one more hit will come in the form of Brieg's extra attack, which penetrates stealth and goes right into Karkanis, pulling off his stealth, so now he can't heal when he attacks. Now, I didn't mention it before, but if you get a little bit of effectiveness on Arya, I mean, in a perfect world, it would be 85% effectiveness, but if you get a little bit of effectiveness on Arya, she's also got a blind debuff, and that blind sticking on Karkanis like that can make life a little easier. You see, if the boss attacks you and misses, he can't debuff you. Unfortunately, Brieg attacked with a debuff, so we cleanse the blind away. But this attack should be just enough. There we go. And once you push to the point where you see this permanent speed buff, Karkanis will never stealth again. Now, at this point in time, you could just turn auto off and Soulburn Shu and finish him off, but there's no need to. That's just only if you happen to come back and want to play the game again, you can do that. But otherwise, just leave it on auto and enjoy how clean and consistent this team is. Momo kept everyone healthy. All my units are relatively tanky. They're all bruiser-style units, so nobody was really ever in any kind of danger of dying in this fight. One big hit from Shu. Man, Daydream Joker makes her hit so hard. Oh no, we're stunned and debuffed. But Brieg self-cleanses. Oh, he didn't self-cleanse. It was a 2-turn debuff. Unfortunate. Poor Brieg goes down for the count. We get a heal off of Montmorency. Cleanse onto the Shu. Extra attack. And just like that, Momo laps around, cleanses the debuff off of Shu. Shu drops her S3 for a little bit of buff protection. It's really unusual to see Brieg drop like that. That was a really bad coincidence of events, but it can happen. It's still not going to keep us from finishing this fight off. We just need one more good hit from the rat. And that ends the fight. There you go. Clean and consistent full auto. A whole lot better. We have yet to have this fail running this team. And I can't exactly say that for the other team. The other team took substantially longer, and just relying on Rat as our sole source of DPS was not fun. Adding Arya and a damage Brieg to the team really cleaned it up. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it helps you farm your Executioner Karkanis faster. If you need assistance on teams that don't involve Arya and Shu, I strongly recommend you run Ran. You'll do this on manual. Ran's S3, especially if you soul burn it, is a guaranteed strip. He's a defense breaker. You put him on Daydream Joker, he does great damage. He does not need to be fast. You can run a 200 speed Ran, make him a DPS Ran. Very, very good unit. You could run Kisei. You'll probably want to put Kisei on an effectiveness neck because you'll want to use her S3 to reduce the skill cooldown on the boss. You could run Lua. She also reduces the skill cooldown. To talk about Ice Lua, not the new Lua. For damage dealers, you could run Lulika, Ice Lulika. You could run Ida. Ida is really good at damage dealing for this. As for Soul Weavers, you can run Angelica. You could run Diane. You could run Elena. There's a whole host of Soul Weavers you could run for this. Just remember, while you're playing this on manual, to keep in mind, you cannot hit the boss while you are debuffed. If you're debuffed, you hit one of the ads. And once you're cleansed, you start focusing on the boss and you hold back your AoE skills so that when the boss goes stealth, you can drop some AoEs, pull them right out of stealth and keep nuking them down. You save your souls, and at the very, very end, when you pop that speed buff, you start soul burning your Shu or your Arya or your Ida or whoever has extra attacks, extra damage from their soul burns, and you burst the boss down as quickly as possible. It's really an easy fight if you keep in mind you've got to have a full-time cleanser who's great at removing debuffs, who's got a ton of ER so she herself can't be debuffed, and you've got units that have AoE attacks to pull Karkanis out of stealth. If you have any questions, ask them in the comment section. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I hope this video helps you guys out. Have a great one, Epic 7.